Today's Life After the Crown podcast is brought to you by Show Me Your Mumu. For listening to this podcast, the gang over at Show Me Your Mumu was kind enough to offer a special discount for you, our listeners. From now until July 15th, 2019, just use the code CammyMumu for 10% off all Show Me Your Mumu items. That's CammyMumu, CammyMumu. It's just one use per customer, and again, that code gets you 10% off all Show Me Your Mumu items. Enjoy the podcast, everybody.
Hey, everybody, it's Cammy Miller, co-founder of Show Me Your Mumu, and you're listening to Life After the Crown with Tim Tialdo.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Life After the Crown podcast, where each episode I bring you interviews with former pageant contestants, title holders, and women of influence who are now succeeding across many different industries in the real world. My name is Tim Tialdo, TV and pageant host, entrepreneur, author, and somebody who just wants to help you become better. Now, if you're wondering what life looks like after pageants, the advice, the stories, and the interviews that you hear on this podcast will not only inspire you, but help make your transition from pageants to professional life a bit easier to handle. So if this is your first time listening, thanks for tuning in. We're glad you're with us. Let's get started. My guest today is the co-founder of the popular Show Me Your Mumu fashion brand, which she and her best friend Cologne dreamed up while on a summer vacation in 2009. The brand quickly grew under their creative direction and within a few years was being sold in major retail stores including Saks, Bloomingdales, and Nordstrom. The last 3 years have been particularly successful as they have grown their business and audience significantly since launching their bridesmaids and maternity collection. They most recently launched the MUTernity line, and then in April of 2018, Cammy welcomed her first baby, Magnolia May Miller. And Cammy and I just caught up back in December where she was a judge at Miss South Carolina USA. Cammy Miller, I know you're super busy and running around this morning, but I appreciate you taking the time to come on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so congrats on being a mama. Now, your daughter and mine, by the way, are just a few weeks apart in age. So How has life been this past, I guess, about 9 months here? Not only being a mom, but also working on a growing business.
Life has been crazy, as you can imagine. Being a mom, I think for anyone is so hectic and wild. And then you add being a mom to Mumu, which is really my first baby. And, it's crazy, but I love what I do. I love being a mom. So we find ways to make it work. And they say, you have to have your village. And it takes a village, and I have my village. And I'm so fortunate for all the support I have around me to make it all happen because, there are not enough hours in the day.
Well, you definitely have a village. I think anytime that, I've seen you come to a pageant and judge, you've been at a couple with me now. I mean, you bring a harem. I mean, you've got a village that travels around with you. It's pretty funny.
I do. I have my posse of Mumu girls. And both things we do for work, there's always a handful of us. And we try to have as much fun as possible. We're all getting our job done.
Well, speaking of pageants, since you come to them and you judge them, I know a lot of the models that you tend to use tend to come from the pageant world. I remember, I think Kabia Sambasivam was one of your most recent ones that I remember you using. How do you go about selecting models for modeling your brand and your line?
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways that we do that. From the beginning, our brand, we always loved to use girls that were maybe undiscovered or just starting in their modeling careers because it's fun for us to give these girls a chance to do what they love and, see if this is something they want to pursue. And so we've always sort of tried to find people at the beginning of their careers or a little younger. And honestly, now with social media, for any number of shoots or reasons, we'll go to Instagram to look for girls and this and that. And pageants are, a collection of the hardest working, most beautiful girls in any given state. So it's just a great modeling pool for us to look at. Like, it's a great start right there. They've already weeded through a lot of the things we look for.
Let's just go back to the beginning of your business. I read the story about you in Cologne and Miami and how you came up with the idea, but I have a feeling you could probably tell it pretty well. So can you kind of take everybody back to that summer night, 2009, you're in Miami, and the conversation kind of comes up with, how this whole thing created. Can you kind of just talk about it?
So our story with Mumu is so funny. We were in Miami, as you said, for a weekend. It was so hot. If you've been to Miami in the summer, you know the humidity that I'm talking about. And Cologne, my best friend, and I were running around, and we kept sort of saying the same thing. I wish we had a muumuu to wear, but it would be a cute muumuu because it would be something that wasn't touching you but bright and colorful, and you could, wear it to lay out at the beach, but then you could throw on jean shorts and wear it to dinner. And we just kept talking about this thing that we wish we had. And we were with our friend who is a businessman, and he's like, "Why don't you guys just make this muumuu? I love it. Show me your muumuu." So he actually is the one who said, "Show me your muumuu," and there was lobster flying out of his mouth and champagne going around the table. It was a very funny, wild dinner, and it just made us laugh. And so the rest of the weekend, we were just running around Miami screaming, "Show me your muumuu." Well, when we got home, we're like, listen, why don't we do this? If we want it, there's other girls who want it. We both worked in fashion at the time, so if we felt like this thing was missing, it probably was. So that sort of started the birth of Mumu, and then from there, we, were really scrappy. We went on Craigslist and paid someone $100 to make the first pattern, and just found ways to make it work. And really, Craigslist was our main resource in the beginning to really get things up and running.
Maybe that should be your tagline, from Craigslist to stardom, the story of Show Me Your Mumu.
From Craigslist to stardom. Yeah, I haven't been on Craigslist in so long. Is that still like a thing?
I think it exists.
I don't know if I want to. Okay.
I'm not sure for
anyone
what,
listening,
but I think it does.
Yeah, for anyone listening, I don't know if that's still the place you go to find talent to get things done, but it was at that time.
So tell me, was fashion design and kind of, building a business something that you always wanted to do, or did you have other dreams that you were pursuing prior to this whole idea?
It wasn't my vision for myself or what I thought I would end up doing, but I had been exposed to fashion at a really young age because my mom, when I was growing up, owned boutiques. So I had been with her to market, and I would work in the store, and my favorite thing, I loved to dress the mannequins and all that stuff. So naturally, I had a history with fashion that I had, seen throughout my childhood. And I always, like any girl, I loved clothes. But I didn't necessarily set out to do that. But when we graduated college, the whole economy had crashed, and we moved to New York, which at that sentence sounds crazy. Why would you move to New York if the economy crashed? But we did because we were young and we had just we had just graduated college, and that's where we wanted to be. And we piled like 89 girls in an apartment to afford the rent, and all of the jobs we found were in fashion. So we had all different majors. I was a film theory major. There was a history major. Cologne was a business major. And we all ended up working in fashion. And half of us, of the 6, are still working in fashion. So it was just one of those things where that's where I ended up. And I honestly loved it so much. And I've always been very entrepreneurial. I can't even say that. I have been that. How do I say that word, Tim? Entrepreneurial.
Entrepreneurial.
I've always been very entrepreneurial.
There you go.
It's too hard to say.
Hey, as long as you can do it, that's all that matters.
So I ended up loving working in fashion, but I also loved the business side and the marketing side and the photo shoots and just, all of it. It's a way to be creative and be in the business world and, do it all. So I didn't set out to do it, but I think that often there's too much pressure on people to know what you want to do at 18 years old and pick the right major and all these other things. But I just think you need to follow your heart and do something that's interesting to you, where you're going to be engaged and you're going to, work hard. Like, I was a film theory major. That has nothing to do with what I'm doing now, but I was really happy at college. I made good grades. I wrote really long papers, so my writing skills probably improved. If you're loving what you're doing, you're setting yourself up for success, no matter where life sort of leads you.
So I've had a couple of other fashion designers on here that have built some pretty significant brands. You may know Candice Pelletier, and then I also had Angela King on, who basically designs a large percentage of all the professional cheerleading uniforms out there. And the one thing that I remember talking to them about that I'd love to kind of hear your feedback on is, it's one thing to come up with an idea and a, quote-unquote design. The biggest and hardest part for them was, how do I actually get all this made, and where do I go to do that?
Yes, and I get a lot of Instagram questions and things like that asking similar things. And like I said, when we started, it was a little bit different. We went on Craigslist and we found everyone, and we were living in New York. And so we would go to the fabric store and we would buy all this like dead stock cheap fabric, and then we would put it in a trash bag, walk down the street to this factory we found on Craigslist. And this kind of crazy, wild man had a team of sewers and they would sew it. And then we would come back, a couple of days later with our trash bag and bring it back to our apartment. And we didn't cook at the time. I actually still don't cook. I wish I did. But we set up the kitchen as our shipping department. We had things in the oven, in the freezer, all over. And that's how we did it in the early days. We figured it out and we made it happen. That was also not financially sustainable. It was a very expensive business model. It worked for the time we still had our full-time jobs. So this is us just sort of figuring this thing out. When we decided to do it full-time after doing research, made in America is not common anymore, but actually in Los Angeles, we have a pretty good factory system still here. So we did our research and realized that's where we could sort of make it happen on a scalable level. Also in LA, you can have a car, you can, all these things in New York that were not possible. And so, we got here and went door to door, researched things online, showed up at places and said, can you help us? Anything to get it done. So we were super scrappy about it. And, there were people that I knew that were in the industry and I would always ask for contacts or advice and help. And I think you have to have a little bit of that figure it out mentality. And, we still, as big as we are now, we still run into issues where factories close or their quality wasn't as good. And, we have to go back to the drawing board and figure out solutions. There is no magic answer. You're not going to walk into a factory and they can make every single thing you want and they give you a perfect product. That is not how it happens.
So tell me, what was the most, the most difficult part of building a fashion brand? Because I know there's a ton, as you mentioned, that you have to do, but was there one thing that you were like, man, that was the most difficult thing that we ever had to overcome in the history of our business?
Oh, it's hard to pinpoint one, but I think as a general thought, the first 2 to 3 years when we decided to do it full time as our job, it was, when I say 24/7, I mean 24/7. It was so much work. And I think that's probably why in the early days, a lot of businesses fail, because luckily we were in a position, we had no husbands, no children. We could literally dedicate our entire lives to this baby Mumu and help it grow. And when I look back now at what we did then, I'm like, oh my gosh, we were crazy. I mean, it was non-stop and it was exhausting, but it was fun. And we didn't have a lot of other responsibilities, so we made it work. So I'm grateful for that time we spent, but I also look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I ever want to work that hard again. But that's what it took for us to get this thing started. We had no money, so it was just us, and we figured it out. And our moms would make the food for the photo shoots. And we just figured out how to make it happen, but it was so much work. And I can totally see how someone would throw in the towel and be like, I don't want to live my life completely for this business or this company. But in our case, that's what it took to keep it going in the early days.
So if you used your kitchen as your shipping facility, what did you eat?
Well, in New York, all you do is take out. We would get frozen yogurt delivered to our house 3 times a day.
Frozen yogurt?
Knew us. Oh, yeah, that was our favorite thing in New York. We would be getting 3 frozen yogurt deliveries a day, truly, from this place called Light Delight. And the man always knew it, and he'd bring us extra sprinkles, and that was the New York life. And then in LA, what did we eat? Well, in LA, we had I got an apartment with a second bedroom that worked as our office. So then we got our kitchen back.
And then you're able to cook.
Yes, then we were able, or at least just store food that we bought from other places. I can't lie and tell you that I've started cooking yet because I haven't. That's for my later life.
Hey, at least you're honest.
I'm like a retired mom.
So, looking back on those 2 to 3 years, if you could go back, what would you not do again that you had to learn the hard way?
What would I? Oh, well, hindsight's 20/20, and as we have grown, there have been, a couple sort of hiring mistakes, I would say, where we felt pressure to hire someone for their resume, even though they might not have aligned with our company culture. And you can be a super talented, smart person who is good at their job or good at what they do. But for us to keep this company moving the way we want, we need people to be, of the Mumu mindset and on board with our bigger picture and that kind of thing. So I definitely think that paying more attention to making sure each hire fit into the company culture is something I wish I had learned earlier on.
Well, you mentioned the Mumu Mindset. What is the Mumu Mindset?
The Mumu Mindset is you can sit with us. It's, be kind, have fun, love life, everything positive. When me and Cologne started the company, we felt like every clothing line that was talking to us as consumers was talking to us like, we're cool, you're not, and sort of this like snobby attitude, and like Regina George from Mean Girls. So for us, we wanted to create a company that felt super inclusive and positive, and fashion can be fun and it doesn't have to be serious. So it's always sort of been our mindset. And we love to see everyone in our clothes, and we love to regram pictures of all types of people in our clothes. We're not stuck in this, one way thinking that some brands sort of get stuck in. And I think we've really done a good job at just keeping that.
Yeah, tell me how you and Cologne became friends.
So me and Cologne actually became friends. And so don't, maybe if you're thinking about it, go to the frat party, because me and Cologne met at Berkeley at, I believe the fraternity was called Zate, in the ping pong room. So look, you never know where you could meet your lifelong best friend and business partner.
Probably some great advice there, Cammy. Go to the frat party to meet your business partner.
Exactly. I know it sounds crazy. And we always say, there's definitely hesitation to go into business with friends. I've heard that a lot. Everyone hears that a lot. And I don't think that is true for everyone. Obviously, in the case of me and Cologne, we have been great business partners and better business partners because we are best friends and we do care about each other's personal lives as well as working lives. And for us, it's worked amazing. And I wouldn't want to do it with someone who wasn't my best friend. So I think when people have a hesitation to do that, you need to know if you're the type of person that can work with your best friend. And by that, I mean, did you guys disagree all day at work and can you still go to dinner and have a margarita and have fun together? That's sort of the question. And Cologne and I it's very easy for us. We're very good at that. We leave it all at the office, and some people aren't able to do that. So I would just challenge that, to work with your best friend. I don't think that's true. I think it just depends on, who you are, who your best friend is, and personality types, basically.
Now, I've had a lot of people ask me, I know you kind of described it at the top of the show. What exactly is a muumuu? Can you clarify?
I can clarify. And, we get a lot of, if you're, near a computer, Homer Simpson references. He wears a muumuu. It's a old traditional Hawaiian dress that sort of became popular in America as a house dress, and then somehow became associated just with heavy set grandmas, basically. But, they were always comfortable and printed. So we love what the roots of a muumuu is. It's pretty and it's comfortable. And so we loved that part of it. But we're like, why not also make it kind of cute? And that's how we still try to design our line is, we want things to be comfortable and cute at the same time. And so if you Google muumuu, you'll see it. This, just this big, huge sack of a dress that we, chopped off, made short, kept it flowy. When we design a lot of our things, we like to say sexy flowy, which are two words that might not normally go together, but they do in muumuu land.
Sexy flowy. I like that.
Sexy flowy, because you don't have to be in a bandage dress to look cute and sexy.
That's true. And from what I understand, you took the
against the bandage dress.
I love it. You took the Hawaiian spelling and just kind of changed it up for your own brand, correct?
Yeah. So because we like to say we chopped off the dress, meaning the length, we also chopped off the name. So the traditional Hawaiian spelling is MU''U, MU''U. So we chopped the length of the dress and chopped the name. And our muumuu is just MU''U. We reinvented the spelling and reinvented the muumuu.
Got it. Okay. So you guys come up with the idea 2009. You're in Miami. You explained it earlier. I guess at that moment when you kind of made a cheers with your champagne and said, we're going to do this, what did you really foresee this being? Did you just see it as like a small business that was going to be fun, or did you see it growing into what it is today?
We totally saw it as a small business that was going to be fun. I mean, in the beginning, we were just doing it on the side of our full-time job, exactly, for fun. And it was going so well in the early days that we thought, okay, maybe we should get a little more serious and try a little more. And so the first few years were us just working our butts off and trying our hardest and being like, is it still going to work? Is it still growing? Oh, it is. Okay, well, let's keep going. And then, okay, now we can hire an employee. And, it was this very sort of timid, unplanned growth. And, now we're entering like our 9th official year of shipping and selling and wholesale and all of that. And I think our advisors and stuff would like for us to have a 5-year plan, but we still don't. But at least now we have like a 1 to 2 year plan. It used to be like the 1 month plan. We're just trying to keep like the bank account open.
So you're not the typical
like,
business plan investors, the whole deal.
Yes, we don't have investors yet. It's still our company, but we have awesome advisors, people that have been in the industry for a super long time that help us sort of make those larger business decisions and get us, on the path to the future. And we just have a great team behind us, and it's combining their insight with what we believe, and we just, we make it happen. So yeah, now we have a vision for a few years ahead, but I don't like to plan too far ahead because we've been so pleasantly surprised with the success and how fast it's grown that we couldn't have possibly, we couldn't have planned this.
So if you had to attribute to, the success of Show Me Your Mumu to, maybe a couple of things, what do you think have been the most either important avenues or reasons that you have grown successfully?
I would obviously, back to the same old theme, hard work. I don't think some people, it probably looks really fun when you're watching us on Instagram, but there's no way to actually convey how hard we had to work in the beginning and how hard we still work every day to make this all happen. Our job is to make life and clothes look fun. We will do a little bit of behind the scenes stuff on social media so you can see what goes into it, but we like to keep it really positive. So, you're not seeing the day-to-day grueling efforts of everyone on our team. And, that's the reality of it all. And I don't think everyone wants to work as hard as we work and as hard as our amazing team works. And that's really honestly what it's taken. I also think there's always an element of luck involved because it's the right place, it's the right time. It's, we know a lot of people. I always, and, we always tell this to our team members as well. Everywhere I go, when I'm meeting new people, I always have lived my life in, kindness and social grace and things like that. And it's really crazy because as I've grown up and as time has passed, like it's amazing the people that have come back into my life or been able to help me or I've been able to help them just because I met them, 10 years ago at a wedding or something like that. So when I say luck, I don't mean pure dumb luck. I guess I mean, sometimes the stars align. And if you live life with kindness and with positivity, I think everything, comes back to you. Be a good person.
Well, you mentioned the hard work on a daily basis and just everything that you guys have to do. So let's talk about that. Can you describe a typical day in your life with Show Me Your Mumu? And I'll say this on the days that you're not recording a podcast.
Yes. So obviously it has shifted now that I have a child. But so a typical work day for me right now, we wake up when the baby starts to cry. So that could be anywhere from like 6 to 7. And that's my time with her in the morning. So I actually, for the first time in my life, like waking up early. Never thought I would say that. And I get to spend an hour or two with my baby, which is great. And I usually, then I'll get to the office maybe around 10. And from that point on, it is meetings. And then I'm supposed to leave at 5, but I usually end up leaving at 7. So by the time I get home, my baby's asleep, and then we start all over the next day.
Love it. So how many employees or staff do you and Cologne have?
So we just actually broke 100 employees. So we have a little over 100. And we love our team. We just think we have the best team in the whole world. And we have taken our entire shipping team in-house, which was a big increase to the employee list. But it's been such a positive thing for us, and we love, controlling everything, and from customer service to shipping to all of that. We want the Mumu experience from A to Z to feel like Mumu and be awesome for everyone. So, yeah, that's our team, and we do like an annual Christmas party, which is so fun because we have a warehouse and then we have sort of a creative office, so we don't often get to interact all together. And so we just had our big holiday party with everyone, and it's so fun, and everyone brings all their kids, and just like, that's some of my happiest memories at Mumu, when we're all together with the families, not working, and just getting to, enjoy each other's company and all of the hard work of the year.
Yeah, and from what I can tell, I mean, you guys have one of those cultures that people love to work at. I know, like Zappos, for instance, is, infamous for that type of culture, and it seems like you guys kind of perpetuate the same thing.
The Zappos culture is amazing. I actually read his book, and very early on that inspired me a lot. And, it gets harder, definitely, the more you grow. But it's also just, again, like, it's back to the people you hire. If you are hiring the type of person that you see, you want to be, or that has the same values as you, it's going to contribute to that and make it better and keep it great. So it's really about the awesome people that we've found to, carry the Mumu torch.
Well, so now that we've kind of learned and understood of, how Show Me Your Mumu was built, what all goes into it behind the scenes, the stuff that people don't see, let's talk about kind of the surface level stuff, the stuff that people do see, your marketing. Now, I was just reading the other day, Forbes put your Show Me Your Mumu on what they call the, quote, influencer-approved dress brands for your holiday party. So that's a cool list to be on. So, from what I can tell in your marketing, cool. You guys have really been able to not only get your apparel into, the well-known stores like Nordstrom's and Saks, but you also really connect with well-known print media outlets that market your collections. How did you go about making those connections and really getting your brand out there?
There's 100 different ways that all those things, come to be. And as I said before, like, one of them is through meeting people, being out, personal connections. And then obviously another channel, we have an awesome outside PR company that works on getting us great print placement and things like that. And then in-house, we also have PR and marketing team who works on that type of stuff. So there's all these different avenues where you can get different placements and different things like that. But, just like raising a baby, it takes a village.
That certainly does. Now, you had an article, I think just a couple of days ago, maybe even yesterday, in InStyle magazine that talked about how you added 3 new sizes to your collection for more curvy figures. Talk about the decision to make those additions.
So we have been making bridesmaids dresses since Cologne and I both got married and realized there was a hole in the market for more affordable, sexy, flowy bridesmaids dresses. And that's when we started. And we have gotten so much positive feedback with the bridesmaids line, and also a lot of people wanting extended sizes. And it's definitely always been something we've wanted to do. But as a small company, we have to sort of move slowly. But we've been working on this now for a couple of years, and so I'm so happy it's finally launched, and that we can include more people in our bridesmaids dress collection and make more people happy for their wedding day. It's for us, being a part of people's wedding days is so special, and being able to do extended sizing is just going to make more bridesmaids and more brides happy. And I'm so excited for that. And so we're hoping it goes well and that we can continue to expand our sizing all across the board. So this is just the beginning, and I hope we gain a whole new customer and we can continue moving forward, because I think it's so important. And as I mentioned earlier, we want everyone to sit with us. We want everyone to be at the Mumu table. So this is, just a small step in that direction. And I wish it could have happened sooner, but we got to move slow because we have to keep the doors open. And I'm just happy it's happening now.
Well, no doubt you're making a lot of people happy with that move. So congratulations on that. I was on your website this morning, just looking through all your lines, and you have a lot of lines. I mean, you got a lot of stuff that you sell. Is there one particular item that outsells all the others?
So the first style we ever made was what we call the original Mumu, and so that was the only thing we made for a year. It would just come in different fabrics, and we would keep selling it. And so that is something we like to bring back at least once a year, and it always sells out. It's like the classic Mumu body that we first made, and it still is. Every time we put it up, it'll sell out. So whereas you used to have 20 options on the website of the Mumu, the original Mumu, because the only thing we made, now we'll just sort of sprinkle in one in a great print every now and then to get people excited about it. So that definitely is like the tried and true Mumu style that always sells out.
Very good. Okay. Well, I talked to a lot of, and I'm particularly talking about the pageant world here, a lot of girls who are, startup fashion designers. They probably were a lot like you in Cologne at the time. And they look up to you and they see this great brand that you've built, and they certainly admire you. So for those listening, if you had one piece of advice to someone just starting out, what would that be?
First of all, that makes me so happy that you say that. And that means so much to me. It really does. And I love thinking that we could be an inspirational story to someone sort of in our position in the early days. And I mean, I hope they look at us and know that even if their idea sounds absolutely crazy, if they think it's a good idea and if they believe in it, it might not be crazy. You know, like, can you imagine how many people in the beginning were like, you're making a sexy mumu? What are you talking about? They thought we were crazy, you know, but we were like, no, we're not crazy. There's something here. There's something here. We really, really believed in it. And so we didn't get distracted by all the noise. And, you know, there's other times still in our, you know, business careers where we have felt like we needed to do something, whatever it was. And we've had people say, are you crazy? Don't do that. It'll never work. And all of that. And when we really believe both we're on the same page and we believe in something, we've always gone forward and it's always worked out and it's always been the right choice. So I think that probably definitely plays into listening to your gut and not getting distracted. You know, you got to use your brain sometimes, but don't get too distracted by that stuff in the early days of an idea. You know, see it through. And as long as you believe in it, I believe keep pursuing it.
Instagram has been big for you guys. I can tell that, you know, your audience is, I think, 425,000 or something like that. I know Facebook was a big deal for you guys back when it was cool. But now Instagram's really, really kind of the more prominent of the social media avenues to be able to sell stuff on. How do you approach your Instagram marketing right now?
You know, Instagram is ever changing. As everyone knows who's on it. Similar to what happened with Facebook. So we just try to stay current and never get too comfortable. The early days of Instagram are different than now. So we have weekly social media meetings and, you know, daily check-ins where we're putting up content that we believe in and we're seeing how it does and how engaged our customer is. And when things aren't working, we like to modify. And our message with Instagram, though, we want to show you our products, show you our awesome products that we've made for you, but also let you see, you know, behind the scenes a little bit at Mumu and meet a lot of the girls that work for us and that kind of thing. So you really feel a part of a community. And yeah, we always aim to do a mixture of photo shoot photos and then just, you know, real out and about cell phone photos because we want you to see normal people wearing the clothes as well as the gorgeous models. You know, we want it to be a variety and be both. So we really aim to do that. But it is, you know, it changes month to month. So we will see what Instagram's doing in 6 months, and we will adapt.
So earlier you talked about, you know, you don't like to plan too far out, but I would love to know, you know, really in your mind, where do you envision this whole thing going? Are you wanting to go, you know, like international? What's the vision for the Show Me Your Mumu brand?
Right now we ship international, but we would like to get deeper into that world. And it might be a little bit of a secret, but I'll tell you. So we're in the process right now of building a brand new website, and it's going to be amazing. And you're going to be able to be completely in the Mumu collection world or completely in the bridal world. And so we're excited to keep those on the same homepage, but develop their own individual websites where you can really engage with the product in the way you would like to based on what it is. And with that, we are going to be improving our shipping, our returns, all of that. So be on the lookout for what's to come. I think right now our main focus is improving customer experience A to Z. It is a crazy fast-paced world, an Amazon world. So we're just trying to deliver our product to people in the most positive way and hope that everyone has a good experience. So we're really working on that right now. And with that will hopefully be an expansion to better, you know, shipping outside of the U.S. and that kind of thing. And then we may be launching kids' clothes in the spring.
Oh, look out.
That's another secret that I'll tell you.
That's very good. Well, I appreciate that.
So we are, you know, now that we have our own babies and we see what's missing in the market, exciting stuff coming for little tots. So that's going to be fun. I think for us, the future, the vision is just to continue to grow in a healthy way and keep our Mumu girls happy and keep our community alive.
Well, I certainly think you'll be able to do that when you're expanding into the kids section there, so good luck with that. With the new website, I think when it pops up, it should just have a deep voice that says, sexy, flowy, and just go from there.
I think we need you to do the recording. You have the perfect deep voice for that.
Well, give me a call. We'll see what we can work out. That'd be good. All right. So, hey, at the end of every interview, I like to do what's called, basically, it's developed into what's called the Life After the Crown Get to Know You speed round questions. It's just 10 fun questions that you get to answer. Are you ready?
I think so.
All right, here we go. Number 1. At what age do you want to retire?
100.
100? Really?
I think because I mean never. I love what I do, and I love working. So hopefully I won't have to work as much one day, but I don't think I'll ever fully retire.
All right, so Cammy's going to the coffin without retiring. Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Number 2, what's the fastest speed you've ever driven in a car?
Oh my gosh, like not very fast at all. I'm kind of a grandma driver. I don't think I've gone very fast.
Like 65?
Probably. You might be like, how slow have you driven on a highway? Because I get like kind of like spacey. So then it's like way too slow.
You're one of those.
Okay. Not a fast driver.
I'll make sure I honk at you when I pass you on the 405. All right, number 3, big dogs or small dogs?
Well, I have a medium dog, so I'm going to say medium dog. He's about 25 pounds.
You're pleasing everybody. Right down the middle. We'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, number 4. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at keeping secrets?
Well, I would like to think of myself as a 10, but I'm actually, this morning I was just with my friend who I accidentally told her secret recently, so I'm going to have to say I'm a 9.
Yeah, you just kind of knocked yourself right off that 10 level.
I just dealt with that this morning because I accidentally told her secret, but it was a secret that I didn't know was a secret, so that doesn't count as not keeping a secret if you don't know it's a secret, but she did tell me it was a secret, but I was pregnant, so, you know.
So that's a good excuse.
Forget about it. Can't remember anything when you're pregnant.
Well, speaking of pregnant, that goes to number 5. How many kids would you like to have?
I would like to have 4, but I will probably have 2.
That's a big compromise there.
Had I gotten married and started at a younger age, I think I would have more, but I am 33 in March, and, you know, on my 40th birthday, I don't want to be breastfeeding a baby. I want to be, like, having fun, and my kids are, like, dancing.
Sure. Okay. Understand. All right. Number 6. Who was your first celebrity crush?
Oh, my gosh. My first celebrity crush was probably Prince William. Me and my sister were, like, so obsessed with him, and every time we would go on vacation, we would be, like, looking for British flags on boats at the beach and just, like, screaming that he was near us. And we were so obsessed. But now I'm totally a Prince Harry girl.
You just like princes, it sounds like.
Yes. Very regal.
So, number 7, I think you clued me into this one earlier, but are you a morning person or a night person?
I'm a night person, for sure. But having a baby has made me a morning with my baby person. But my heart is with the night owl and with sleeping in. I can sleep for like 100 hours in a row.
Okay. Number 8, do you like giving presents or getting presents?
I think I like both. I get so excited to give people something that I know they're going to love or throw a surprise party and that kind of thing. But, I mean, also, who doesn't love a present? Like, presents are great.
Okay, we'll go down the middle on that one. We'll go both. Okay. Number 9, do you Instagram your food?
I think I am guilty of it in the past. But I think at this point in my life, the food would really have to be special and motivating. And, like, I would have to be hungover, and it would have to be a beautiful fried chicken sandwich and french fries, and the lighting would have to be perfect, you know? So
I find it interesting that being hungover is an ingredient that has to be a part of that.
Yeah, like, I'd have to feel really passionate about what I was about to eat, and it would have to be beautiful. I'm not a regular food Instagrammer because I'm not that good at filtering photos and stuff. So, like, I don't think people want to see my hamburger.
That's probably true. It's just a hamburger, probably not. All right, last one, number 10. What is the place that you most want to travel to that you haven't already?
Oh, my goodness. Like, everywhere that I've never been. I love. And I always want to go to new places and see new things. But top of my list, I think, would be Iceland. Because every time I see someone there, the pictures just, like, kill me. And I want to get in one of those baths with steam so bad. And it just looks so gorgeous and cool. So I'm going to say Iceland.
All right, so you want to go from Venice Beach to Iceland.
Yep, that's the
All right.
plan.
All right, you're off the hot seat. You made it through the speed round, so congratulations. Thanks for doing that.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. I was ready.
And, hey, thanks for sharing your story today. So cool to hear about how Show Me Your Mumu has grown. And, of course, I look forward to seeing you at more pageants here in the future. I'm sure you'll be judging. So thanks again for the time.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for listening to today's episode, and thanks to Cammy Miller for her time. And if you enjoyed it, hey, please subscribe. You can do so on Spotify, iTunes, the podcast app, Google Play, and YouTube. Or you can just go to lifeafterthecrown.com. And for weekly podcast updates, just follow me on Instagram at Tim Tialdo. Until next time, remember the words of Hebrews 10, verses 24 and 25. And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. See you next week, everybody.